I often say conscious energy experience is destiny, is has a choice. And unconscious energy experience is our destiny. There is there's no choice. The choice is somewhere in the past. So what does that tell us? It says, okay, more awareness is the entry gate to change. So which means I need to become curious. If there is a challenge, how can I become, instead of saying, oh, I don't want that challenge, say, oh, it's challenging, but I'm curious about that. I really want to find out more. So the first step is that I begin to bring more awareness into myself. For a simple thing, what we just did in the chat, is I notice more and more when stress symptoms come up in me, how they feel, what that is, what are early symptoms of stress, how does it feel when it's escalated. So that's a kind of an inner witnessing process. So I developed the skill of being more aware or introception of my inner experience. So that's number one. The more I feel it, the more I have access to a different potential regulation. So then I can see, wow, I have very powerful friends. One is my body. I get to know where in my body I feel safer and calm and grounded, where in my body I hold stress or tension. And I begin to develop that skill. Every day I practice a few minutes, or let's say 10 minutes. I sit down and I practice, where do I feel grounded, warm, safe? Where do I feel agitated, restless, or numb? And I train this. And through the training, I develop like a muscle. And then every time I get more stressed, I will feel it earlier. I can use my breath. I can use my body. I can slow down for a moment. When I'm in a conversation, I am not answering immediately. I take one or two breaths and then answer. So I make more space, because when we get stressed, we have no space. When we are more relaxed, suddenly we have space. We can reflect. We can digest our experience. So how can I insert a bit more space when I feel life closes in on me? I need to make more space. And inner practice is one of it. Having a cup of tea and be present with it is another. Taking a walk, having a nourishing conversation, or even share our stress with others that we trust. All of that creates space and movement, digestion. And I think these are two qualities that we can all practice. And every time I digest a bit of my experience, let's say I come home from work and there was something stressful, and I take a few minutes to not go to the phone or to the internet, and I just sit down for a moment, I breathe, I slow down my breathing a bit, I feel my body until I feel my nervous system comes down and is more regulated. And then I do, what I want to do. And so just short kind of moments of space can be tremendously helpful. And that's not something huge. That's something that every one of us can put into our lives if we want it, of course. And then what I said before, also looking what's the relational ecosystem that is supportive. Like, whom do I call when I'm stressed? Even if my tendency is to retract, I practice to reach out. And who are people that can listen to me? And maybe who are the people that I listen to? So this creates an ecosystem of a deeper regulation in the relational space. And maybe also to look for communities. Where are the communities that are really practicing some of that? And the community becomes like a support system. And helps us to regulate better. So these are like simple practices. Of course, there's so much more to say. This we cannot do in 1 hour, but this gives us a little bit of a taste. It's doable, but it needs curiosity. When there's a challenge, let's become curious. I want to learn more. This is a time for me to develop. That's the message.
Yeah, and I noticed, Thomas, that nothing in what you share about is about fixing ourselves, each other, even the world. But it's more about becoming more intimate with ourselves, reaching
Mhm.
out to each other, building community, finding our agency in the world. It's like coming closer or melting into. Can you just say a few more words about that?
Yeah, that's very important what you're just saying. It's like, because some people also fear a bit, and it's important that that's a fear, that's not the truth, is when I'm not activated, I will not care for the world. When I'm not activated, I will become lazy, or I will become complacent. And no, our mature self, when we are regulated in ourselves, we want to step in. We want to be active. Activism, regulated activism is amazing. Dysregulated activism creates collateral damage. And once I know this, then I see, wow, the state of our nervous systems, the state of our inner world is an asset, and it matters. Because still, many of us might think, oh, if I just cover up that I'm stressed and I try to put a mask on it, people won't recognize it. But that's far from true. We also recognize when somebody comes into the room and is internally agitated and is smiling, but the smile doesn't fit to what the body expresses. So that creates a double message. We are more sensitive, and we feel that, even if there's a behavior on top of it that kind of tries to put a mask on it. And so that means when I'm stressed, and then other people around me are also stressed, stress is like goes viral in all of us. But if we, more and more of us, feel regulated, even in a stressed ecosystem, we can support that ecosystem to come down. And especially everybody who works with clients or parents, or everybody who is in contact with many people during the day in their workplace, our grounding, our presence, that's why we call this resilient presence. Our presence is an amazing asset. This is important because presence transmits. Presence, it calms the space down. When someone or some people are present, it can take the social system into a deeper regulated state. And from there, we are not complacent or indifferent, or we don't care. We are just interacting with the world, and because we feel agency, not stress. That's different. If my trauma stress comes up, that's different from I feel I want to do something for this. I feel here we need to step in and become a voice for a certain value in society, or take leadership. This is not coming from trauma stress. This comes from agency. I'm creative, I care about this, and that's why I do something. That's a different place, and that comes from a mature place. So that's very powerful. And sometimes some people feel, oh, when my fear or my stress declines, I won't be active in the world. And I think that's based on a fear, but that's not the truth.